You're watching the Knox Pages.
You are watching the Knox Pages.
You're watching the Knox Pages Game of the Week.
Welcome, folks, into another edition of the Knox Pages Game of the Week. My name is Grant Pepper. I'm a reporter at KnoxPages.com. It is Week 3, the final week of non-conference play here in Ohio high school football, and this week's Knox Pages Game of the Week matchup will feature the only undefeated Knox County team left versus a team they took overtime to beat last season. It's East Knox versus Strasburg-Franklin out here at Chet Looney Stadium in Howard on Friday night. That game will kick off at 7 p.m. and we'll preview that game in a little bit. But before that, let's get you caught up on what happened last week around Knox County high school football. In Week 2, our Knox Pages Game of the Week was Lucas over Centerburg, 42-14. Lucas improved to 2-0. Centerburg dropped to 1-1 with the loss. Berg found themselves down just 14-7 at half, but Lucas ran away with it literally in the second half. 409 rushing yards on the night for the Cubs. East Knox, a team you'll be hearing more about today, beat Utica last week 51-10. East Knox improved to 2-0. Utica dropped to 0-2. It's the second straight week that East Knox hung 50-plus on an opponent, and they made quick work of the Redskins last Friday night. You'll hear more on that game in a bit. Mount Vernon last week picked up their first win of the season. They beat Newark at home 41-27. The Yellow Jackets improved to 1-1. Newark dropped to 0-2 with the loss. Yellow Jackets rallied from an early 10-0 deficit to get their first win of the season. They did so behind the running back duo of Wyatt Gregory and Ashton Fisher, who combined for 252 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns last Friday night at Energy Field. Danville dropped to 0-2 last week with a loss to Tiffin Calvert on the road, 39-21. Calvert improved to 2-0 with the win. Danville was down 26-21 with 10 minutes left in the ballgame, but Calvert scored twice in the final 10 minutes while the Danville offense stalled. It was another road loss against a tough, likely playoff-bound opponent for Danville early in the season. And Pleasant beat Fredericktown 43-7 last week. The Freddies dropped to 0-2. Pleasant improved to 2-0. Fredericksburg 0-2 after another blowout loss on the road to a perennial powerhouse in Pleasant. They lost 63-0 to Clear Fork in Week 1. Fredericktown has been outscored 106-7 in the first 2 weeks under new head coach Bo Wolford, playing two very good, top-notch, playoff-bound opponents. And that sets us up for Week 3, the final week of non-conference play, where we will feature East Knox versus Strasburg-Franklin right here at Howard as our Knox Pages Game of the Week. The Bulldogs coming at 2-0, Strasburg-Franklin at 1-1. East Knox finished last season 7-3. Strasburg-Franklin finished 4-6. These two schools have played each other the last 3 seasons. East Knox has won 2 of those 3 matchups. The Tigers won in 2015, 34-26 in a close one. There was another close one, 2017. East Knox ran away with that one, 26-19. And then East Knox won last year in overtime by a score of 34-28 at Strasburg. I got to talk to East Knox head coach Cody Reese this week, and he remembers the last year's matchup vividly as it turned into an all-out dogfight in Week 3.
You know, it was a close game. You know, we feel like we would just get over the hump, just feel like we're going to put them away, and then they'd fight and claw right back into it. And then they'd go ahead, and then we'd get back. It was a really good game. They never gave up. You know, and unfortunately our boys never gave up, and we were very fortunate to come away with the win last year at Strasburg. So, you know, this year they're going to come to town ready to play, and if we're not ready, they're going to come down and beat us. So we better be ready to play football.
Now East Knox is far and away the hottest team in Knox County right now, going 2-0 after 2 blowout wins in Week 1 and 2. They beat West Muskingum 55-2 in Week 1, led 49-0 at halftime. Last week against Utica, they led 33-10 at halftime before winning 51-10. East Knox has outscored their opponents 106-12 through the first 2 weeks, and Coach Reese thinks that most of it can be attributed simply to sheer execution.
You know, we've been fortunate enough in being able to execute as a team overall, as a whole, buying into, you know, the focus and the game plans going into each week. And so really excited about that up to this point. So, you know, we're hoping to be able to continue that trend going in here to Week 3.
Now, a huge piece to East Knox's success so far this year has been the performance of senior running back Cason Crownapple, who ran for 128 yards and 4 touchdowns in their win last week over Utica. Crownapple echoed his head coach's sentiment about why the team's performing so well, saying most of it has to do with the team's cohesiveness so far.
we're just executing, communicating. We're all on the same page. When you're all on the same page, you all work together as one unit.
Now, there's one thing you can say about East Knox's 2-0 start. It's that their opening schedule isn't the strongest. The two teams they beat so far this year combined for just one win in 2017. Week 3, however, posed a stiffer challenge to the Bulldogs, and head coach Cody Reese believes that Strasburg-Franklin will play the Bulldogs tough on Friday night like they have each year the last 3 seasons.
You know, on film they play hard. You know, they're a pretty good, pretty well coached team, and they run a lot of the same offense and defense. So you know, their kids are going to come hungry, and so like I said, we've got to counter that by being ready ourselves.
Unlike Utica last week, who featured a very balanced offensive attack, Crown Apple says that he expects more of a run-heavy offense out of Strasburg-Franklin in Week 3.
They are definitely a run-heavy team. They ran the ball on us very well in the first half, and they passed it on us very, very well in the second half. So, in the secondary and in the front, we have to be perfect, communicate, and know our assignments.
So what does second-year head coach Cody Reese believe the key will be for his Bulldogs to stay undefeated on Friday night?
The key is staying disciplined. You know, we got to make sure we stay disciplined so that we can execute it up at a high level and come away. And if we do that, we'll put ourselves in the position to be successful and hopefully be fortunate enough to come away with a W Friday.
Hot starts are nothing new for East Knox, though. They started last season 7-0 before dropping their last 3 games, missing a shot at the state playoffs and a KMAC title. Crown Apple says that the team has used that as motivation this offseason, and he believes the team now understands the importance of every game, including the one on Friday night against a 1-1 Strasburg-Franklin team at home. This season, East Knox knows every game is crucial.
Now, most of the upperclassmen that are back realize that this and last year and how week to week everything is. You have to take it one day at a time, because if you overlook one team or one day, even a practice, it can all vanish.
Coach Reese also noted that his team's very excited to get back in their home stadium on Friday night, as it will be the home opener at Chet Looney Stadium for the Bulldogs in Week 3. Meanwhile, out in Strasburg, the Tigers are coming off of 2 very different results in Weeks 1 and 2. Week 1, they beat Conotton Valley 26-8, but in Week 2, they lost to Rootstown 61-0. Before Strasburg-Franklin makes the hour-long trip out to East Knox this Friday night, I had a chance to get on the phone with first-year head coach Curtis Metzger to talk about his team this season.
Coach, walk me through, your first 2 weeks. Obviously, first week of the season this year, big 26-8 win. Next week, you get shut out last week. So, kind of walk me through both those games, I guess.
The first week we came out and we hit on all cylinders. I mean, we looked good offensively, defensively. We did what we were supposed to do. And we were clicking, and that was one thing. Our quarterback, our sophomore quarterback, Chet Looney, he led us. For week 1, he led us around and got us to where we need to be on offense. And Conotton Valley is a team that we've faced for a long time now. They used to be in our league, and so we know them very well. Not just everybody knew that we should win that game. I mean, they're the same size as us. It's a very competitive game, but everybody around the area knows, we should win that game. And we did. We did what we needed to do. We were physical. We flew around. We had fun. We played football. And then week 2, we knew it was going to be our first test. And Rootstown, Rootstown, first time ever facing them. They were 12-1 the year before that. Very, very good team. They were very big up front, very physical, and we got to see a lot of things that we had questions about in our team. And some of it was good, and some of it was not very, it wasn't so positive. But we got to see our first test of, people that are going to come out, smack us in the mouth. How are we going to respond to that? Sometimes we had a good response, and sometimes, there was a couple of times where it was like, oh man, we might be in trouble.
Right.
But other than that, week 2 they took it to us. We didn't make plays when we needed to make plays. We had 4 or 5 different chances to go make a big play. keep drives going, and do something special. And, you know, we didn't sell out at the time that we needed to sell out. You know, and that's our big preach this week, you know, in a game that, you know, that competitive, you need to give it every time, and no matter what game, but, you know, you need to sell out on every single play. If it's diving for a catch, if it's going full bore the whole entire time, you know, we need that every single play in a game, you know, like this week's going to be against East Knox.
Right.
And that's something that, you know, we've been preaching all week, and we're hoping, you know, they take it to heart, and, you know, we change it up a little bit this week. And we struggled shutting them down. You know, they rushed. They totaled 525 yards total, and we only have 77. You know, so that says everything. We couldn't move the ball. You know, they shut us down offensively. You know, and our philosophy is our offense is our defense. We need to control the clock. You know, keep their offense off the field, and we'll be in a ball game. You know, and that's something that we're going to look to do this week too. We need to have total control of the ball, you know, to keep their offense, their explosive offense that they have, and that Crown Apple the kid, the running back, and, you know, I think it's Galwitz or whatever his name is, number 4 for them. You know, we got to keep the ball out of their hands. Those are 2 good playmakers that they got this week, and, you know, we got to focus on them. And if we do that, I think it'll be another good game between Strasburg and East Knox, like it has been the last 3 years.
Yeah. Coach, tell me a little about your team this year. Obviously, you're coming off 4-6 year last year. It's your first year as head coach. Who are some of the big pieces you have on your offensive defense this year?
Well, the offensive line is mostly on return. You know, that's the big key part right there for us, is because we like to run the ball. You know, so our offensive line returned 4 of the 5, and we returned 1 tight end. We actually returned both tight ends, but the other tight end went to running back this year. Mm-hmm. Our quarterback, sophomore quarterback, he ran the ball last year for us, so he takes over the reins this year at quarterback for us. Very athletic, good off his feet, you know, and he still makes mistakes, you know, early on in the season. You know, that's what we expect. You know, we tell him, you know, we'd rather you run for 5 yards than to just throw up a ball because you got pressure on you. Make something happen. Defensively, you know, defensively is where we got, our middle linebackers are so-called our weak spot right now, because we lost 2 that went on and played college ball this year. So that's where we're still trying to find answers, you know, who can fit here, you know. But up front wise, our big guys, they're our key offensively and defensively. Our 2 corners, they're very good at what they do for our defense. You know, we think we can man them up against anybody, and we'll be okay all night with just manning them up on the outside against, you know, 1 and 2 receiver.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned Galwitz and Crown Apple as a couple guys. What challenge does East Knox present for you guys on Friday? Obviously, they've kind of blown out their first 2 opponents. Mm-hmm. And what kind of, you know, mindset or mentality are you preaching to your team as they head into this week?
I mean, we got to be prepared defensively. The Crown Apple boy, he runs the ball hard. He's physical. Mm-hmm. You know, their offense, I mean, the numbers that they've put up on the board speaks for itself. You know, they're going to move the ball. They're going to score. You know, but we got to be able to, you know, respond. We got to be able to, you know, bend. We're a defense that bends, but we don't want to break. You know, and that's what we got to be Friday night to keep us in the ball game and, you know, make us what we want to be and get us to the fourth quarter where we want it to be in the fourth quarter for us.
Mm-hmm. Mentioned the last year, obviously an overtime game with these guys, really close game. How much do you think that stuck with you and your team and your week of preparation here leading up to Friday's game?
That was a big key. You know, it's been a key the whole off season, you know, because, you know, we win that one, you know, and we win that one last year. You know, we finished 5-5, and we're right there in the playoff hunt in our region. You know, so that one really was that one, and we played Malvern later on in the year. You know, we were up by 21 going into half, coming out of half, and we lost that one too. So you're talking 2 wins that, you know, we could have had, you know, so that's sad in a couple of these guys' stomachs all year. And, you know, when we finished Friday night, I made sure, you know, to remind them, you know, let's remember what's happened the last couple of years that, you know, we faced them, because it has been a ball game every year. You know, we won the first one, they've won the last 2, but it's been a ball game no matter what.
East Knox and Strasburg-Franklin will kick off at 7 p.m. here at Chet Looney Stadium on Friday night. And this week's Knox Pages Game of the Week, as always, you can look for our game recap following Friday night's game on our website, knoxpages.com. Now let's take you around Knox County for the rest of the Week 3 matchups here in Knox County High School football. All 5 county teams will play at home this week, and 4 will have their home openers on Friday night. As you know, East Knox and Strasburg-Franklin going head-to-head here in our Knox Pages Game of the Week. East Knox, the only undefeated team left in Knox County. That game will kick off at 7 p.m. here at Chet Looney Stadium. Centerburg at 1-1 will host Northridge Johnstown at 7 p.m. on Friday night. Northridge comes in at 0-2. It is Centerburg's first home game of the season. Mount Vernon 1-1 coming off of a first win of the season against Newark. Will take on Buckeye Valley at home at 7 p.m. on Friday night. Buckeye Valley is 0-2 so far this year. Mount Vernon lost that game last year, 17-9. Danville at 0-2 will try to get back on the winning side of things versus Garraway, a talented 2-0 team at Danville on Friday night in the Blue Devils home opener. That's a 7 p.m. kickoff. And Fredericktown at 0-2 will have their home opener against Utica, also 0-2 at 7 p.m. Fredericktown won that game last year, 34-21. Freddies will try to get back in the win column in Week 3. And that's going to do it, folks, for this week's edition of the Knox Pages Game of the Week. Make sure to follow our sports coverage all season long at knoxpages.com. And follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Knox Pages for live game updates, game recaps, features, exclusive interviews, and more. Again, my name is Grant Pepper. I'm a reporter at knoxpages.com. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy Week 3, and we will see you next week.